Welcome to another chapter of our Marketplace Core Features for Seller Dashboards webinar. Today we'll be going over EDI and API integrations. Let's get to it.
So let's go ahead, Chris, and dive in and talk about EDI and API integration for the sellers.
Awesome. Thanks, Ron. And this one's really interesting because there are a lot of facets to it that we can exploit in a positive way for your business and your marketplace. The number one thing here, like you said, Ron, would be just in general, thinking about what we can automate. A lot of times this ends up starting with working with suppliers, depending on how you are fulfilling within your marketplace. There could be the opportunity for you to handle some of the logistics, or that might even be a requirement for you to be able to add value within your marketplace. A lot of our clients that leverage a marketplace type of business model don't do any of the logistics. So it just depends on your scenario. But EDI very commonly, and just general API integration overall, this is going to tend to be at scale a necessity in order to properly execute on the logistics at scale. And what are we talking about when we say logistics? We're talking about shipping, dealing with all of the fulfillment steps and the status of the items, making sure that the items get fulfilled. They get, the proper pick, pack, and ship within different fulfillment facilities, and that it's an intelligent fulfillment from the most proximate location with the inventory that's needed, and making sure it's actually done properly. So reducing human error in this can be massively important, but also coordinating with the lead times on different carriers. So this, depending on the marketplace, for many of our marketplaces, it's going to be intermodal potentially. So you're going to have multiple different shipments that, this fulfillment is going to go through. So it might go through just a standard carrier, to a port facility, to a train, to another standard carrier. It could be LTL the whole way. It could be just an overnight shipment via, an overnight carrier. The list goes on. And so how are we integrating this with the lead times and the inventory data that needs to be relatively real time, if not literally real time for the end user, from the seller, and making sure that seller has an ease of being able to implement that. And these are some of the questions and the realities whenever you're operating your marketplace at scale. And so fundamentally, I would say APIs are really important, both being able to consume APIs from external partners like carriers, but also being able to present them for some of your sellers so that they can have their team work with the APIs, bulk upload, EDI, etc., and properly take advantage of some of the automation. I won't name names, but I will say that it rhymes. The end of this marketplace rhymes with Ron, and it's one of the largest in the world. And working with their APIs is one of the most challenging, cumbersome processes you could possibly imagine. The documentation is very poor. Just the support and the resources, generally as a rule, there are exceptions to this, but generally as a rule is very, very low support. And it's similar to a rainforest, and the end of it rhymes with your name, Ron. So I'm sure no one knows which one I'm talking about, but just think about how frustrating it is for sellers to use a platform like that, and how that can cost them literally hundreds of thousands of dollars of effort to properly integrate with. I mean, that is really unacceptable performance. And so we want to be on the other end of that spectrum, and be a really bright spot for our sellers and make it very easy to integrate with them. So just as an example, one of the things that we offer at Clarity with our marketplaces is our integration platform. We can integrate with the most common ERPs and basically warehouse management systems that are out there, so that we can push and pull this data very easily for the end customer.
Right. Well, and that's, again, your opinion about the one that rhymes with my name there. The reason we know that is a lot of times clients are coming to us asking us to design and build them marketplaces. But then from their omni-channel sales approach, they want us to then integrate and be able to push and sell and report on their products to other affiliate sites, including that one. So we're constantly working with that one, with dozens and dozens of clients. And so this isn't just a thought or a bypassing opinion. It's because we work with it every single day. And so it really is important to understand and have a partner and a solution that really truly understands integrations. I mean, we're 16 years old. We've already done 4,000 integrations. I mean, this is literally what we do. And it's funny because I have a spreadsheet that I track our most recent integrations, because I'll say, we've done thousands of integrations. They're like, have you ever integrated this? And I'm like, yep. And they're like, well, how many times? And I said, well, let me look in the last 6 months. And I can literally bring up a list and show them. And they see this list and they're like, holy cow, okay, well, let's go. So it's really important to focus heavily on the integration being a first-class citizen. It's probably the best way to say it. So appreciate those comments, Chris.
Thanks for watching an episode of our Marketplace Webinar Chapter Series. Join Chris and Ron in our next video where they will cover product management. See you there.